This is the Disney Dude. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more content, and please hit that thumbs up if you like this video. So now I have been to Epic Universe. I did a second trip to Epic Universe. Now that the previews are over and the crowd levels are up, because now it's the start of summer, and I really now want to do a more in-depth honest review for you. The first one was kind of like, this is that, and I, kind of pertain, I kind of spoke a little bit, how people say this is the Disney killer and everything. So now that I have been a second time, now I can give you a more full, in-depth, honest review for you. So without further ado, let's get into Michael's second honest review of Epic Universe at the Universal Orlando Resort. So, just a few things before we get started here. Yes, I do call these honest reviews. I am not on the media list. I am not on the media list for Disney. I am not on the media list for Universal. I don't have anyone telling me what I can and can't say. So these reviews are honest, and my very honest opinions about what I like about a show, whether I like about a ride, whether the theme park, or or a special event, or whatever. So this one's going to be obviously a little different, because this is Universal. It's not Disney, so it's going to be a little bit different in that fact. But let's jump into this, okay? Because there's quite a bit I want to talk about. So first things first, when we, getting on the road to Epic Universe. So when Disney lost their special tax district, Reedy Creek, Universal decided to jump in and say, now we can have our own tax district and Disney won't have one. So now that'll be a one-up on Disney. Of course, as it turns out, Disney actually, after all the legalities of everything, they ended up getting their tax district back, albeit being under a different name, but they basically got their special tax district back. But it was during this time when Walt Disney World was fighting with Ron DeSantis about the tax district and everything, that Universal went to Ron DeSantis and said, "Hey, can we have our own special tax district, since we're not, challenging your authority or any, I don't know what the conversation was, but I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall for that one." But he said, "Absolutely, yeah, go ahead, yeah, let's, we'll give you a special tax district. That's fine." So now they have their, which I think it's only for Epic Universe. I think it's only for the area around Epic Universe. It's not like Disney where it's a complete, where the whole resort is under the tax district. I think it's just Epic Universe that's under this tax district. I could be wrong. I don't offhand know that answer. You'll have to do some more research, but as far as I know, Epic Universe is the only theme park Universal has that has a special tax district, which is called, what's it called? Shingle Creek, I believe that's what it's called. I believe that's the name of it. So it's, it functions as much, the same as Disney's. This one is, Universal, their people are on the board, and it functions the same as that Disney had. So, when Disney had their own special tax district, the people, special, I don't know if they were cast members or who was on the board of Reedy Creek, but it was Disney's own people. Disney's own people was on their board, and it's the same thing with Universal. Universal, it's only their people that control the tax district. Disney doesn't have that anymore. Now it's run by the state of Florida, which we won't get into that thing because it's just a bunch of nonsense anyway. But anyway, so Universal has their own tax district, I believe, just for Epic Universe. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe it's only for Epic Universe. It's not for Universal Studios or Islands of Adventure or City Walk or Volcano Bay. I believe it's just for Epic Universe. So, but now that we've got all of the legal stuff out of the way, let's get into the rides. I actually had to count the rides, and there. So, but here are the actually I did want to mention also that Universal has utilidors. So much like Magic Kingdom and Epcot, where those two parks are built really on the second level, that Epic Universe is the same. They have utilidors that run underneath the park. So that's why you never see different costumed cast members in different areas. So the Super Mario, the Super Nintendo World team members, you don't see one in like the Monsters area, or you don't see the Island of Berk team members in the Monsters area, or you don't see the Harry Potter team members in the other portions of the park. So they're all in their own area, their own specific area, which is great. I mean, that's kudos to them. Kudos to Universal for doing that, because it just keeps everything. I don't want to say magical for Universal, because that's not, but it keeps everything in the correct, I don't even know how, correct story, if that's what you want to call it. I don't know. Only the Super Nintendo World team members are in that area. Only the Monsters area team members are in that Monsters area. Only the Island of Berk team members are only in that area. So kudos to Universal for doing that, because it helps keep everything grounded, and it keeps everything, it's not jarring. I mean, if this were Disney, I would say it keeps the magic alive, but obviously Universal is not really about magic. Harry Potter is, but everything else is not. So, but I mean, kudos to them for doing that. But I want to get to we've got the legal stuff out of the way. We got the other stuff out of the way. Now I want to talk about the rides. Okay? So I wrote them down, and there are 11 rides in this park. Okay? 11 rides in this park. And 8 of them are outdoors. 3 of them are indoors. Okay? So this is not how I rank these rides. These are just how I had to keep these. So I had to, keep, because so I didn't count them twice. So, in Celestial Park, you have Constellation Carousel. You also have, we'll get to the other one in a second. Then you have Yoshi's Adventure, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, Curse of the Werewolf, Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment, Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry, Stardust Racers, which is also is in Celestial Park, Fire Drill, Hiccup's Wing Gliders, Dragon Racers Rally. So there's the 11 rides. Now, let's figure out which ones are outdoors, okay, shall we? So, Constellation Carousel and Stardust Racers in Celestial Park are outside rides. Yoshi's Adventure is an outside ride. You do go inside for like a minute, but it's an outdoor ride. Minecart Madness is outside. Curse of the Werewolf, which is outside. Stardust Racers, like I just mentioned, is outside. Fire Drill is outside. Hiccup's Wing Gliders is outside. And Dragon Racers Rally is outside. So, let's think about this for a minute. Okay, let's think about this. Okay, you are in one of the hottest states in America. Okay, you are in Florida. Okay, and you're building this theme park, and you, for some reason or another, I don't know why, management just decided that the total lack of shade and inside stuff to do in these parks is kind of ridiculous to me. It's kind of outrageous. It's really outrageous, because you have 8 outside rides, and you have 3 indoor rides, and you have 2 shows. Okay? So basically you have 5 things to do inside and 8 things to do outside. Now, look, January through about May is fine. May is questionable, but mostly it's fine. January through May is fine. June through November is totally different. It's a totally different story. June 1st to November 30th is our hurricane season. All right? And of course, in the summertime, which it is now, guess what happens in Florida? A lot. It rains a lot. And we get really, not all the time, but we get bad storms here. We get bad storms. We get lightning and thunder and torrential downpours, okay? What do you think happens to those outside rides during that time? They shut them down, okay? And now you've shut down more than half of your park because you can't run the outside rides while it's storming. So people only have 3 rides to do and 2 shows if they're running. If the shows are running. I know they're still having problems with the Untrainable Dragon. I think Le Cirque Arcanu is running consistently. I haven't seen anybody say anything that it's not. So that at least that's running. But the Untrainable Dragon is not running consistently. So let's just take that out. Let's take that out, okay? So you have 3 indoor rides, and if we're cutting down the show, now you have 1 show. So you have 4 things. 4 things to do inside. All right? That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this, again, December through, so January, February is fine, okay? March gets a little bit rainy, but usually not too bad. April is when it starts getting rainy. May starts getting rainy, and then June through November is basically thunderstorms every day, okay? Because it's, hurricane season and it's a rainy season. So you're basically, June 1st to November 30th, you can count on afternoon thunderstorms, okay? Now, it can rain all day. It absolutely can rain all day. Usually doesn't. It usually doesn't rain all day, but once in a while it does. Once in a while it will rain all day. And then that's kind of like, okay. But I think that was a terrible oversight. That was absolutely ridiculous for them to build so many out. And look, I get it. You're in Florida. You want to enjoy the outside. I get it. Okay? But you also need to have indoor things to do, which is why Disney really is so much better in that regard, because they build a lot more stuff inside for you to do. And it's stuff that takes quite a long time to get through. Okay? So, Universal for some reason just hasn't figured that out yet. I don't know why. I don't know why they haven't figured it out. But it's, I just don't understand. I just don't understand why, they would build this theme park, this supposedly Disney killer, that no one's going to go to Disney anymore theme park. And you have so much lack of shade. So even when it's not raining in Florida in the summertime, it's excruciatingly hot, okay? Because you have the hot sun beating down on you, and it's 90 degrees, over 90 degrees, and the humidity makes it over 100. Okay, I'm sorry, but there is no excuse for that. There is absolutely no excuse for that. The reason why they didn't do that is because, they were budget cutting, and they were like, it's fine, it's okay. We don't, they don't need, indoor things to do and such, which is why when it rains and half the park gets shut down, the indoor rides get so inflated with the wait times because people, obviously they can't do anything outside. So then they have to shift their focus inside. And then, of course, the rides break down. Okay? So they just didn't seem to get it. They didn't seem to understand that, and they were starting with a fresh plot of land. Okay? This wasn't like, they were taking over something else that used to be there. They were starting with a fresh plot of land. Okay? So they knew what they were doing. Absolutely. But for some reason they just decided to build so many outdoor rides and not enough inside rides or inside shows to do. So I don't understand that. I don't get it. That seems to be obviously the number one complaint people have because of the outside rides getting shut down and everything. They, people get upset because, they can't do the outside rides, which, look, it's not Universal's fault. It's not their, the operations people, it's not their fault. Okay, and it's not Disney's fault either. Okay, they didn't shut the ride down because they didn't want you to experience it. Okay, they have to shut them down. They have to, they have to shut down the outside rides because they don't want you to get struck by lightning. Okay, which would be a really bad thing. Okay, so they have to shut them down for safety reasons. Okay, but for some reason people just don't seem to understand that. And I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, maybe they don't understand that it's a liability issue. I have no idea. I really have no idea. But people need to, you need to get over it. You need to get over it, okay? You knew where you were coming. You knew what state you were coming in the heat of the summer. You knew that this was, at least I hope you did, that this is our rainy season, okay, where we get, crazy amounts of storms and everything. So the outside rides are going to get shut down. They just are. It's not the team members' fault. It's not the cast members' fault. They have to do that, okay? They're liable. They have to do that. They cannot in good conscience let you ride an outside ride where you could get struck by lightning. Okay? So, the rain's not the issue. Unless it's like really torrentially downpouring, the rain is not the issue. It's the thunder and the lightning. Okay? So when it's thundering and lightning within a certain distance of the park, then they have to shut the outside rides down. But I mean, so I understand. I understand my people. I mean, you really shouldn't you shouldn't yell at people. You should not yell at the team members or the cast members or whoever because the outside rides are down. That is asinine for you to do. That is absolutely outrageous. I understand. I get it. I understand that you're upset. Okay. But you need to think about that. You need to think about that. It's for your safety. It's, so Universal and Disney doesn't get sued. Okay. And it's not just them. SeaWorld is the same way. And Busch Gardens is the same way. And, whoever else we have. I think that's it. But I don't know. But, that's what they have to do. So, when I see comments like this online that, are complaining because of the weather and, they have to shut the rides down and your whole day is ruined and everything. What I say to that is you need to get over it. Get over it. And I'm sorry. I know I'm going to get flack for this. People are going to, rant and rave, but I don't care. I don't care because this has to be this has to be addressed. Okay? And just look, not all people are like that. I am not saying that. I am not saying that everybody on this earth is mean and nasty and rude. Okay? I'm just addressing the people that, are being nasty and rude to these team members and cast members because of the storms. All right? So, I don't blame Universal for storms. I blame them because there's not a lot of inside rides and shows to do. Okay? I blame them for that because they did not plan for that. They did not plan for that. And look, okay, maybe, and I haven't seen The Untrainable Dragon yet. I was going to, but it kept going down. So I haven't seen that show yet. I really like Le Cirque Arcanu. Okay, I like that show. Okay, I haven't seen The Untrainable Dragon yet. So hopefully one of these days I can go and see it. But shame on Universal. Shame on Universal for not building enough indoor rides or shows to do. Okay? So that's where I stand on it. I mean, I think that is outrageous. That is outrageous. And, if they do expand, which is, further down the road, if they expand, which is the plan anyway, I really hope that they build more indoor rides to do and more indoor shows, because they need to take that into effect. Okay, especially right now, June through November. They really need to take that into consideration. Okay, so, when you fill out, the guest surveys and such, don't be rude, don't be nasty, don't be mean, but just say, hey, I would like to have more indoor rides to do. If that's one of the questions, I don't know. I've never taken one of Universal's surveys before, but go to guest relations or whatever they're called at Universal and say, look, I'm not trying to be mean, but just so you guys are aware, if you guys expand further on down the road, you might want to add some more indoor stuff to do. Okay? But as far as I know, if anyone in the comments has been multiple times, because I've only been to Epic twice. If anyone has gone multiple times and you've actually seen the Untrainable Dragon show, let me know, because I want to know how it is. Okay? But I can't speak on that because I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen Le Cirque Arcanu in Harry Potter. So, but if anybody has seen the Untrainable Dragon, let me know. Please let me know in the comments, because I'm interested. I am interested. Is it a good show? Is it worthy to see when it actually works? But let me know. Let me know how you let me know how you feel about that show, because I'm interested to see. I'm interested to know. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the streetmosphere. The streetmosphere is, I think, what really keeps these theme parks alive. Okay? Disney's finally getting it. Disney finally understands that they need more streetmosphere and more atmospheric entertainment in the parks, and that's what Universal's doing too. Universal has, a lot of streetmosphere and a lot of performers outside and such. My fear is that once summer comes and goes, they start pulling out their pocketbooks and they start looking at things to cut, and they don't think of live entertainment as people. They don't, okay? Now, obviously, if it's a stage show, that's different. But, you know, these Streetmosphere performers, they don't think of them as shows. They don't think of them as people. They think of them as dollar signs. So when they see the reports that come in and they see, you know, oh, look, you know, look at this thing that's costing us money. We should get rid of it. That's when you need to go to guest relations and say, look, these people are fantastic. You should keep them in your theme parks. Okay? We've already lost Streetmosphere once. Okay? We've lost Streetmosphere at Hollywood Studios once. Okay? Let's not lose them again. Okay? Whether that be at Epcot or whether that be at Epic Universe. Please, let's not lose them again. Because we've already lost them. We already lost them once. So please, let's not do that again. Go to guest relations or whatever they're called at Universal and say, I really like these shows, these Streetmosphere shows. I really like them. And here's why I like them, and blah, 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 blah. All right? So that's what you should do. That's what you should do. All right? So, that's, you know, that's something else to do in this theme park. But I haven't been to like really all of the lands yet. Monsters I've kind of just walked by. I still need to like really go in that land and you know, walk around and everything. The two lands that I absolutely love is Super Nintendo World and the Monsters Universe. Because I have only walked around the Monsters Universe. Like I said, I haven't like, you know, been in that area fully. But I really, hopefully one of these days when because I can't really keep spending money on these tickets because they're expensive as hell. But when they do add these to the annual pass, when they add these to the annual passes sometime down the road, I need to go back and I need to walk around the Monsters area and the Super Nintendo area. I think that the three best areas in the park are Super Nintendo World, the Monsters area, which I don't know if that has a name or not. I don't know. I really have no idea. Dark Universe. Yeah, it does. Dark Universe. So I really love Super Nintendo World, Dark Universe, and I really like London for Harry Potter or England or whatever it is. Those are my three favorite lands. The Isle of Berk, I don't like that area. That area is not... That's when you can tell that they ran out of money. Okay, that's when you can tell that they ran out of money. Because that area is not great. It is not great, okay? So many sightline issues, and the rides, I mean, you know, I've only done Hiccups, which is a good ride. But, I mean, I walk around that area, and I'm like, at no point do I feel like I'm in Berk. At no point do I feel like I'm in the Isle of Berk. Okay, it's not like when I walk around Super Nintendo World where I'm like, yes, I am absolutely in this world. You know, it's not like Dark Universe where it's like, yes, I'm absolutely in the Monsters world. Or Harry Potter's world, where it's like, yes, I absolutely feel like I'm in this world. So, I think they could have done a better job with the Isle of Berk. Clearly that's where they ran out of money. So, you know, don't really like that area. It's not great. Hiccups is good. Couple of sightline issues though with that ride, which is not great. And look, I haven't even been on Minecart Madness yet, so I don't know if there's sightline issues with that ride. I have no idea. If anyone has ridden Minecart Madness, and if you've paid attention to the sightlines, please comment in this video, because I don't know. I have no idea. I can only really compare it to the Isle of Berk, or I can compare it to Yoshi's Adventure. Because in Yoshi's Adventure, at no point do I leave Super Nintendo World. At no point do I leave that area. Okay? And with the Isle of Berk, it's like, it's sightline issues, and it's like, okay, well, that's not great. I'm no longer in the Isle of Berk. Okay? And, and people, and I'm not a big roller coaster fan. Okay? I'm not. A couple roller coasters I like. Okay? Slinky Dog, even though that land is garbage, Toy Story Land is garbage. I like Slinky Dog Dash. I like Big Thunder Mountain, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I really like Hiccup's Wing Gliders. I really like Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. There's some roller coasters I like to do. Okay, there's some I like to do. Again, I'm not a big roller coaster fan, so it's like if it's big vertical drops and upside down and corkscrews and everything, I don't do that. I don't do that. The only thing I come close to is when I do Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Because once I get over the first inversion and then the corkscrew, then I'm fine. Then I'm okay. Then it's like, okay, now I'm good. But it takes those few moments to be like, okay, hold on a minute. Then it's like, okay, now I'm good. But if that's all the roller coaster is, big vertical drops and, crazy maneuvers like, Velocicoaster or Stardust Racers or whatever, it's like, no. Nope. It's not happening. Not happening. But I do want to talk about Stardust Racers, because even though I don't do this ride, I have seen a lot of POV footage. I've seen people talk about it and everything. Look, this is a unthemed roller coaster that has tons of sightline issues. Okay, way more than Hiccups does. Okay, Stardust Racers is, you have so many sightline issues, it's not even funny. Alright, so it's like, that's not good. That's not great. Okay, and look, I understand. If people, if that's your jam, if you love, Stardust Racers or those roller coasters, that's great. Okay, that's great. Good on you. Okay, I don't really like those type of roller coasters. They're just too wild for me. But because I have seen POV footage, and I see the Isle of Berk looking at you. I see, as far as I know, that's the only land I see. I could be wrong, but this ride is already unthemed anyway, so it's like, okay, well, there's the Isle of Berk. Oh, it's not great. I don't know. Alright. So, whatever, but, that's, but I mean, but getting back to those worlds, going to Super Nintendo World and Dark Universe, I could spend all and a little bit of Harry Potter, but Super Nintendo World, I could, that area alone, I could spend there all day. Like literally, that's all I could just go to the park for that. Okay? Because I really love that world. Okay? Yoshi's Adventure, whether you like it or not, I don't know. Mario Kart, Bowser's Challenge, that ride's garbage. So, the queue is absolutely fantastic. I would go, even though I hate that ride, I would go just to go and wait in that queue, because that queue is like absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. If you have not seen that queue, and if you're just using your Express Pass, then you're missing out. You're missing out, because I think that should be, I think that's the queue that everyone should be looking at, and the Ministry of Magic as well. Once you get into the Flu Network and you come out the other side and you go into the Ministry of Magic, and that's that wow moment. Okay, that's that wow moment. That's like Rise of the Resistance. When you step out of out of the I don't, what do you call it? I don't know, that transport vehicle. When the Resistance captures you and you step out of that transport vehicle and you head into that show building and you see just the level of detail and the number of stormtroopers and I mean, just the whole building is like, oh my God, I could spend all day in this room. If it wasn't part of a line, I could spend all day in this room. Okay? And that's the way I feel about Super Nintendo World. Okay? Where, it completely separates you from the outside world. So, at every single turn, I am in Super Nintendo World. Okay, I am engulfed in the world of Mario and Luigi and Toad and Peach and Bowser and Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong and Koopas, and I'm really geeking out now, but I could just go to Epic Universe and I could just walk around Super Nintendo World all day and I'd be happy as a clam. I'd really be happy as a clam just to walk around and see that area and just explore so many inches of that area. The rides are, depending on your point of view, I like Yoshi. It's fine. It's okay. It's not great, but I like it. It's fine. Bowser's Challenge? No, I don't like that ride. That ride is garbage. Somebody asked me, when we got off this ride, and I basically said that this ride is garbage. I mean, obviously we got out of the show building and everything, and I said, boy, that ride is garbage. And they're like, why? I said, okay, well, let me count the ways. First of all, it's a slow-moving dark ride. It is a slow-moving dark ride. That's problem number one. Problem number two is you're wearing VR glasses. So the characters, and they don't even line up correctly with the screen. Okay? They don't even line up correctly with the screen. So, wearing the VR goggles is not great anyway. Okay? And I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. you know, and it would be a much better ride if there wasn't the goggles and they did physical, because they did physical sets. They did physical sets and animatronics and everything. You don't get to appreciate that fact because you're wearing the Mario hat with the VR goggles, and you can't appreciate that fact. So it's like, okay, that's, but for people to come off that ride and think that it's the greatest thing ever, it's like, why? Why? Help me understand. Why do you think that's the greatest ride? It's the same thing with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Disney's Hollywood Studios. People walk off that ride and they're like, man, that was the greatest ride ever. Why? Why? Those two rides are not good. They are not great, okay? Now, granted, with Super Mario, it's not really much of a story because you're just racing or you're kind of racing, shooting at other players and such. So there's really no story, so you're not missing any story content. But it's not a good ride because it's slow, it's VR glasses, it's a lot of, spinning movements, and so it's not great, okay? It's not good. And Mickey Minnie's, that's not good because they sit you in the last row, and you have no idea what the hell just happened. You have no idea, not a clue. You miss half the story because you're sitting in the back row and you just came into those scenes in the middle. Okay, that's one of the problems I have. The other problem is the animatronics are garbage. Okay, the animatronics are hot garbage. Okay, so, but I'm not here to rant about Mickey and Minnie, but I mean, for people to come off, and I have ridden Mario Kart twice now, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it. We come off the ride, and people are clapping, and people are cheering, and it's like, I don't understand it. I really have no idea. Okay. So, I wish I could understand. I really wish I could. But I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. But I haven't done Monsters Unchained yet. Curse of the Werewolf I'm not doing because it's a spinning roller coaster, and first of all, I don't even like roller coasters. Second of all, it's spinning. So, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. People are saying that Minecart Madness is rough, which I think, I'm pretty sure it is. But I'd like to do it just once. Since there's no inversions or anything, I'd like to do it just once to say I've done it. But I really want to do, when I can, I want to do Monsters Unchained, and I want to do Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry. I really want to do Minecart Madness, and I would really like to do The Untrainable Dragon, because those are the three things that I have not done. I can't do Untrainable Dragon because it's not reliable. I can't do Harry Potter, the Ministry of Magic, because one, it's unreliable, and two, it's so crazy. It's like 6 hours, 5-6 hours? No thank you, I'm good, I'm fine, I don't want to ride it that bad, thank you. Maybe someday, but not right now, thank you, I'm good. But I would like to do those, because I want to do Monsters, I want to do Harry Potter, and I want to do, The Untrainable Dragon. Those are the three things that I have not experienced yet. So, hopefully, again, hopefully one of these days I can get back and do those things. But I can't keep, spending money that I don't have on a ticket. So, when it's included in the annual pass, hopefully they're talking next year. So hopefully I'll have to go back and do those rides and tell you what I think about those. But there you are. That's my second honest review of Epic Universe. Disney has nothing to worry about. Disney has nothing to worry about, okay? This is not a Disney killer, okay? People online are like, this is a Disney killer, and Disney can, they're gonna have to pack up and leave Florida now, because Epic Universe is the greatest thing ever. It's really not. It's not great, okay? It's not good. Now, I've given you some things I like, and I've given you some things that I don't like, okay? But, as with Universal, I judge Universal the same way as I judge as I judge Disney, as should everybody, okay? So, but there you are. That's my second honest review of Epic Universe. If you like this honest review, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to my channel. If you want more honest reviews from me, again, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It's really great to see so many of the fans out there. But again, I thank you very much for watching this video. You guys have a great rest of your evening. And just remember that tomorrow is just a dream away.